Hey everybody, let's talk about textures. My name's Chuck Arlund and I'm going to show you my very favorite texture. Here's an artist I recently shot out of Nashville and we were just kind of out playing around. Let's go in and clean him up first. So I'm going to use my patch tool for his eyebrows. That might have been too much. There we go. And okay, now we're going to get rid of his lines up here. So, a new layer. I'm going to use my healing brush tool and sample all layers. And I'm going to kind of make him look like a freaky Botox person. Just like that. And it doesn't even have to be that precise because of what we're going to do. Let's clean up his eye shadows here. Just make him smooth, make him look unrealistic, look like an alien. Yep. Okay, there we go. But since it's on its own layer, I can now change my opacity back to normal and just kind of come back. That looks about good. Let's say 45%. There. So let's go look at our textures. I like stuff that looks like old film or anything that just kind of adds a little grit to it. I mean, that's kind of the reason we're using textures. This one is my all-time favorite, and it's inside of my old elevator. And here's another version of it, and I want to show you how you can manipulate it, which is a lot more yellow and dark. But let's go ahead and open it up, and let's manipulate this texture. That's what I like about textures. You can do anything you want to with them. And I want to make it kind of a little less orange and lighter. So black and white, and let's use screen. And I'll explain these blend modes here in a second. That did something, but now it's not very punchy. So let's do black and white again and run an overlay. That made it punchy. So I like that. Let's do black and white again and kind of back off a little bit. Maybe copy those together, run screen, back off it a little bit more, and there we go, our final. Let's copy and paste this. Now let's talk a little bit about blend modes. You can see the texture is on top of the image, and we need to overlay it onto the image. And we do that by these blending modes. And you can get some kind of weird ones in here, like difference. The ones that really don't change the integrity of the image that you'll use the most are multiply, screen, overlay, and soft light. And for this example, let's go ahead and just use overlay so we can see it and back it off a little bit. Let's try that. And now let's go ahead and drag this out. And you can really do anything you want to with this. So the next thing we have to do is get rid of the texture on his face and skin. We could add a layer mask and brush it out, but that just kind of looks bad. I want to leave the integrity of the color that we've introduced by the texture, but get rid of the texture. So I'm going to use my lasso tool at about 100 pixels because I don't want it to be too feathered where it would blur out into the outside of him and kind of look like a halo. But I don't want it to be too sharp either because then it would just look unnatural. So let's just select him. Doesn't have to be too precise. And let's make sure he's got there. And we'll filter Gaussian blur at the maximum pixel, 250 pixels. You can see it kind of went away, but let's look at it. You can see the gradation. So there's before and after, and you see it as I shift closer to the edge. Let's zoom in on it. And so that texture isn't there anymore. And there we go. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is add a little pop to him, because he still looks a little flustered. This is one of the things I like to do. I'm going to copy everything onto one layer, and I'm going to do an unsharp mask. And what this will do is just add contrast. So amount is 20, radius is 200, and threshold is 0. Let me go in. You can see there's before and after. And I do it's on its own layer, so I can adjust it too. I don't want it to be too much. There's nothing, and I'm going to go about 59. The very final thing I want to do is tone this area down so the focus is more on Ryan. So I'm going to go to my lasso tool, 250 pixels, and I'm going to, we used to call in the darkroom, burn that in. And I just copied that selection and pasted. And I'm going to run multiply. And it's going to make it really dark. So I'm going to back it off a little bit. There we go. I think I like it just like that. And that's how you use a texture.